This is a tutorial on how to use the code matrix family of functions from the qdap package. You tell the code matrix family of functions because they have the CM underscore in front of them. Okay, these functions are quite useful for when you have a transcript that you've coded up in some fashion. Here's just some arbitrary codes I've created. For instance, names is in red. Call the NM for the short code. Fake code appears in black box. FC. So I have 5 short codes here for a coded transcript. And these package functions, the code matrix functions, are useful when you want to take this kind of data, this qualitative data, and turn it into a matrix. This matrix can then be used for basic descriptive statistics, for visualizations, or more robust statistical analysis. First step is to read your data into R, then load the qdap library. Here I've created a fake data set for us from Romeo and Juliet data set. And your next step then is to get your codes into a character vector. So we had the 5 codes right here. Go ahead and supply them to QCV. It just makes your life easier, no quotation marks. And there are our codes. Next step is to take our CM blank function and create a blank code matrix. And you supply to it your data set, which is dat, your text variable, which is dialogue in this case, and then your codes. See right here that these are our codes right here, and they're blank or all zeros. You can see it's added this word number column, and you can see the rest of our columns look pretty much the same, with the exception of the text column that used to be dialogue, but it's stretched it out into all words. Okay, some other useful arguments in the CM blank function is the transpose equals true function. If you do that, instead of having your variables go up and down, they go sideways. So for instance, your text variable goes across like this. These are your code variables like this. And for some people that's easier to work. Another argument you want to be aware of is the CSV argument. If you set that to true, it will output a CSV of the file. Right here is the transposed one, so they go sideways. Here is the up and down one. Just going to highlight these columns quickly so they're easier to see. Okay. Now the next step is to take these blank matrix and fill them in with ones whenever a code occurs. So for instance, here Gregory is coded NM. So the very first word under NM, Gregory, should be coded a 1. There are 2 approaches to do this. One is to go right into the CSV and manually code everything by hand. So 1 for NM. I'm going to skip the next 3 codes. Move right to the end. FC, so you can see some range coding. FC is the black box, so from no to Colliers, or however you say the word, should be all a 1. Okay, like that. And I'm going to stop there. You'd save it. Read it into R in a standard fashion with read CSV. And you can see it's now dummy coded with 1s where your code occurs. You could also have coded it with a transformed version. If you read that in, it would look like this. You need to get it back to the standard form. So use CM transform to do that. Supply the data set to it, text variable, and it transforms it back. That's one approach, by hand in a CSV file. A second approach is to use CM fill. And a nice function to go hand in hand with that is CM range temp, and that makes a template of your codes. So supply to it your codes, and it makes a nice little template. You can cut and paste that to a text file format. I don't care, Word, whatever, it doesn't matter. You want to open up your transcript and probably have the CSV open as well, because that word number column is pretty important. Here's how it works. You have your codes here, NM. Very first word, Greg, is NM. Look over here. Oh, that's 1. So we supply to it 1. Next, SR. That is our green codes. My is, well, that's word number 3. I. Look down here. That's word 16. And again, another I here at word at 36. You could keep track of this by hand and then input it into the text file. Maybe that's faster. I'm going to skip the next 2 codes and so you can see range coding. Black is FC, and that goes from no to Collier's, however you say it. So from 9 to 16, or 9 to 15, I guess. And the way you do that is 9:15. If you have more codes, you put a comma. Here we do. Goes from live to the end, so 28 to 40. What you do is cut and paste that back into R. I've done that already here, but I also assigned it to coded. And what that does is make a nice list with all your codes and where they occur. You can then supply that to CM fill. And CM fill, you need to give your data set, your blank matrix, all the zeros, and your coded. You supply it, and your outcome is your dummy coded matrix. Another nice function is CM combine, and what that'll do is take columns and combine them under a parent node. So let's say N and M, NM and FC go together, and then these 3 go together. What you do is supply your data set, and then your combined columns, and that's in a list. Oops. A little nicer way to look at it is this format here. Say we'll call N and M FC, the combined column. We'll call it other. And refs are these 3 right here. That's actually columns 10, 11, and 12. You can supply it numeric as well. That's why I've done it here, so you can see both ways. And you can see that it outputs 2 more columns with them dummy coded as parent nodes. So for instance, other is made up of FC and NM. If either one of those columns contains a 1, this will be a 1. Okay, let's see it in action. I'm going to move a little more quickly. If you want to see this, look at the code. Using the Gantt plot function from qdap. I'm more interested in the last 2 columns of this, which are start end times. Supply that to CM2 long. So you supply that data frame. Any code variables. The second one here, new 2, is just the parent nodes that I combine. Let's see a plot made from that. Makes a nice little Gantt plot. There's our codes by person over time. You can do some nice faceting with ggplot too. So by person. And then let's look at those parent nodes as well. And these are just the parent nodes. This has been a tutorial on how to use the matrix, the code matrix functions from the qdap library.